Go ahead and get started with the energy at the bottom of the deck. It is the Six of Water. Okay, feeling nostalgic, feeling the past, living in the past, looking towards the past, or it could be someone returning from the past. Yeah, I get the sense that right now with everything that's going on, that many of you Capricorn are looking to the past. Well, this is how it used to be. This is how I used to do things. Okay, cool, but no more, right? So with this massive shift in socializing, in living, because of this pandemic, how we used to do things back then, there's some things that can apply. It depends on how far back in the past you're looking. So if you're looking back to the 80s, there's a lot of things that can apply today, just because, life was different in the 80s. It was slower. It was more contact, more communication, more time at home, right? Because we didn't have FaceTime. We didn't have cell phones. It was like, okay, well, we're home. You go to school, then you do your sport, then you come home and you're kind of home, and you went outside and you played with your friends right there in your neighborhood, or you were on the phone having conversations with people, not texting, not emojis, not Snapchatting or TikTok or whatever's going on. It was real connection, real communication. I feel like if you're feeling nostalgia about that, that's what's kind of coming back in vogue, so to speak, right now. But I also do get the sense that there's a lot of nostalgia about what life was like just before the pandemic, going to work, having the kids go to school, having a social life, going to restaurants, going to bars, being out, going to events, going to concerts, getting in your car and going away for weekend travel, weekend getaway, flying on a plane, all that, So I feel like there's a lot of backwards looking, a lot of reflecting on the past. Again, people from the past are resurfacing for a variety of reasons. And I do get the sense that this pandemic is sort of bringing everybody up and out of their shells to start making those connections. Maybe for a variety of reasons. It could be maybe some of you know people who are ill, right? And it's just people coming from isolation, or, we do get busy with our own little bubbles. We're coming out of our bubbles to start making those human connections. Say, hey, how you doing? Hey, I heard you're sick. Are you better? Can I help you? What can I do for you? Or it's just, like, hey, how are you faring? I haven't heard from you in a while. It's been a few years. I'm home. Got nothing but time on my hands. How are you doing? Let's catch up. So there's a lot of that too. And then for those who unfortunately are dealing with the difficult situation of losing a loved one to this virus, it is bringing out a lot of people from the past say, gosh, I'm sorry, my condolences. So there's a lot of the past coming up to the surface right now. Good, bad, or indifferent, but it's coming up. And that's what this pandemic is meant to do on a certain level. So if you haven't already done so, check out my weekly woke messages. I release them around Sundays for the week. I've released at least 2 with big spiritual messages specifically about this pandemic, specifically about what's going on here. So I don't want to go into too much detail with this reading. I'm going to let you check out those videos. A lot of those messages I received through shamanic journeying. I am a shamanic practitioner. For those of you who are unaware, check out my website. I just launched that, awakenhealings.org. It goes into a little bit of my bio, how I got into this line of work, and the services that I do provide. So without further ado, let's get into your reading. So again, the past is very much in your present right now, Capricorn. So just give me a moment to flip the cards and check in with your energy. Okay. At least 3 8s on the ground. Okay. Yes. So, Capricorn, you are being represented by the Moon card in reverse. This is the card of Pisces, when the moon comes in reversed. This is about you releasing illusions. So I feel like, again, with the past so strongly in your present right now, Capricorn, I feel like that you're releasing illusions and delusions about the past, and you're now seeing things clearly. I feel like lessons from the past are resurfacing right now, and you're like, oh yes, I get it now. I now see clearly what that meant. I see clearly where I was in my own way, and I see clearly which direction I need to go in and how to proceed. So I feel like a lot of that is clearing up for you. When the moon card comes in upright, this is, the moon always represents intuition, but when it's upright, it's about secrets. It's illusion, things not seeming what they seem or what they appear to be, right? With this reverse, all that fogginess, all that smoke and mirrors is going away, and you're starting to see things clearly. Your intuition is increasing. You're getting into more spiritual alignment. You're trusting your gut. You're trusting your emotions. You're listening to your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams, because right now this is a very heightened time period for many of us. We're all being called to up-level ourselves and to upgrade in some shape, form, or fashion. And you're gaining the clarity that you need on how to proceed with that, okay? Especially with the past resurfacing. Crossing you is the 3 of Earth, upright. Yes, I feel like this is community coming in. This is people. This is your soul tribe. I feel like there's a lot of assistance around you to help clear through the fogginess of illusion, to really start to see things clearly and maybe offer you assistance, maybe offer you ideas of new direction, maybe a shift in careers when everything is said and done, when all of this settles. I feel like the past is here to embrace you and to support you in some shape, form, or fashion. Again, when we started this reading, there was a lot coming out of the 6 of water. A lot of messages. So there's a lot for you there, a lot to unpack. And I feel like it's time for you to sort of face the truth about the past, maybe really make amends with the past in order for you to move forward. This is part of your healing process. And again, we all have time on our hands to do so. Time to heal, time to reconcile, time to have those conversations, time to just face it so you can move on with clarity, with an open heart, and with a clear mind and a clear conscience, right? Yeah. So foundational to your reading is the 8 of Air, anxiety. This is self-imposed anxiety. So 8 of Air is synonymous with the 8 of Swords card in the regular Rider-Waite. And that's depicted by a woman with a blindfold and her hands tied behind her back, but she has 8 swords in a semicircle around her. She's not fully imprisoned. It's a false imprisonment. That's usually self-generated. So 8 of Air is coming in. This is foundational to your reading, and I feel like this is giving you anxiety and you're overthinking a lot of things. Again, the past is in the present for you right now, Capricorn. You've got a lot of people around you, a lot of people to lean on, a lot of people to assist you with your thinking, to help maybe talk things out, maybe share some ideas, use people as sounding boards, but you don't have to go this alone. You're not alone in this at all. Even for those of you who live alone and we're all social distancing in our homes and we're physically by ourselves, you're not alone. You've got a connection. You've got a soul network, a social network around you. One phone call away, one text message away, one DM message away, Zoom, all that. There's ways to connect, all right? But you have to allow the help to help you, all right? And just, you don't get so overwhelmed about what the past, is doing right now, because it is here. And, it's here to serve a purpose, in your lifetime right now. And it's meant to teach lessons, and it's meant to expand you. And, this is going to help you move forward in the future when the economy opens up, when we all go back to work, when the kids go back to school, you know, all of that, when we're finally able to get out of our houses and be in society. So this is a perfect time for you to release a lot of that. In your recent past, 8 of Earth. Yes, this is a lot of work on yourself. I feel like you did a lot of healing work on yourself. I feel like you did a lot of self-improvement. I feel like you also threw yourself into work itself and just focused on work projects, maybe worked overtime. You were busy. You were very, very busy, Capricorn. And I think you did that as a method of escapism. But now that we're all home and we're not so busy, we're alone with our thoughts. It's just us and our thoughts. And, you know, the past, like I said, is very much here in your present right now, Capricorn. So I feel like this is a time for you to really apply all the healing and the self-work that you've done on yourself so far. Apply that to the current situation at hand. So that way it'll help you deal with the past, reconcile with it, make peace with it as you need to, so you can evolve and move forward with a clear conscience. Okay. Yeah, but this is a lot of work, a lot of self-work, a lot of self-healing there. On your mind's eye, King of Fire. So this, this is a fire energy. Maybe some of you are dealing with a fire sign, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. Maybe a fire sign has reversed themselves out of your lives. But if you're embodying the characteristics of the King of Fire reversed, they are very angry. They're very angry individuals. When it's reversed, it's someone who is frustrated, who lashes out, who will just say what they need to say out of anger, out of passion, out of impulsiveness. And it doesn't matter who, you know, how their words fall on the recipient. They're going to say what's on their mind. And I get the sense that this is you, Capricorn. Maybe there is a lot of frustration that you're venting, that you're airing out, and you're trying to gain the upper hand and gain control and maintain control of a situation, but you're feeling out of control. You're feeling like you don't have dominance over a situation. And maybe you feel like you should have dominance. Maybe you should feel like you should have better control of the situation at hand, of your participation in the situation, you know? So there's this frustration. I'm seeing that this is frustration. This is, you're trying to be a leader. You're trying to control it, but it's not going the way you want it. At least that's what's going on in your mind. You're just feeling out of control, and it's frustrating the hell out of you. All right? Yeah. Because normally when the King of Fire is upright, they're visionaries. They're very charismatic. They have the ability to lead people, to bring them on board with the strategic vision, the big picture. And they're not the ones doing the work. They're inspiring others around them to do the work on their behalf. They delegate, they assign tasks. You do that, you do that, you do that, and then you let me know how it's going. And I won't accept no for an answer, and failure is not an option. That's the King of Wands, King of Fire in the upright. When they're reversed, when it comes in reverse, none of that is happening. No one is feeling inspired. People are feeling micromanaged. The king is feeling out of control. They're not able to they don't have a good solid grip on the situation. They may not have the vision, the strategic vision clearly communicated, because they probably don't know what it is. So there's just a lot of that. They're out of sorts, and if they're out of sorts, they're giant assholes. So watch your temper. Words have power. Words can hurt, and they can't be taken back. So be very careful with that, okay, Capricorn? Woosah. Woosah. All right? In the near future, 8 of Water, you are walking away from things that no longer serve you. Yeah, you're like, all right, there's a reason why the past is here. The past is here for you to deal with it, to heal it, to get over it, and to move on. is you are moving on to greener pastures. You're moving on towards your 9th cup, towards your wishes being fulfilled, your goals, hopes, and dreams. You're going in pursuit of that. And that's why you're walking away from the 8 of Cups, because you know there's bigger and better for you out there. You're leaving the past in the past. You're going to reconcile with it. You're going to mend it. You're going to package it up, heal it, forgive it, do what you got to do with the past. Again, it could be people or a person or a situation, right? Or whatever energy, whatever the past means for you, you're going to resolve that situation. And then you're going to move towards your 9 of Cups in pursuit of your 9th cup. Yeah? Okay. How you view yourself, 5 of Earth. Yeah, you're coming back from inside the cold, from out of the cold. You're no longer feeling left out. You're no longer feeling like you're lacking in finances, lacking in friendship, lacking in spirituality. I feel like you're coming back to yourself. You're coming back from the cold. It's time for you to it's time for you to reconcile with your past. It's time for you to face that music and heal it so you can move forward. But you are coming back in from the cold, or you're allowing someone or something to come back in from the cold. Doesn't mean you're letting them in your life, but they're here momentarily so you all can talk, so you can dialogue, so you can resolve whatever that situation is that needs to be resolved. Because once you do that in your environment, tower moment, transformation. You have 3 8s on the ground. You have the 8 of air, 8 of earth, 8 of water, and boom, the tower. All that 8s represent change and transformation. The tower is all about transformation. This is huge. This is big. This is what's happening to you right now. So yes, allow the tower to come in, allow it to cleanse, break down anything that's not meant for your highest good. It has a cleansing, purifying effect, has a renewing, rejuvenating effect on you, and it's going to be in divine timing, divine order, and for your highest good. So breathe with it, surrender with it, allow the tower to cleanse, which means removing people, persons, situations, energy, opportunities, things that just weren't quite working for you or that were not going to be in the best interest of your highest good. That's the purpose of this tower. All right. Hopes and fears is 7 of earth. It's time for you to make some decisions. It's time for you to really take a look at where you've been, take a look at what you've harvested up to this point, and make some decisions. Are you happy with what you sowed? If not, what are you going to do differently going forward? How are you going to tweak your future plans to yield the harvest that you want? So remember, the 7 of earth in the regular Rider-Waite tarot deck is depicted by a man looking at a harvest, like a pile of 8 pumpkins, right? It's like a pumpkin patch where there's like 7 pumpkins, right? And he's looking like, all right, I just harvested this crop. Here's my harvest. Here's my bounty. Am I satisfied with it? Yes, cool. Do it again, right? But if not, and most of us aren't, most of us be like, okay, that's nice. Here's what I want to do differently, or here's what I would have liked to have seen happen. And I feel like with the 7 of earth coming in, that's the angle you're taking is, here's what I would have liked to have seen, or here's what I want to happen next. So in order to get different results, you have to change your course of action. So what are you going to do? And that's what this tower moment is here to do, Capricorn. It's here to change your trajectory, change your plans, change your action. All right? Because once you allow this to happen, you're going to harvest a new crop. You're going to have a new bounty. And if you allow that to happen, you're going to be very happy. Your outcome is the King of Water. Someone who's very imbalanced, not only intellectually, but intuitively and with their heart. The King is someone who has mastered their emotions and who's very diplomatic with how they express their feelings. They employ equal parts logic, intellect, and love in their message. They're not afraid to speak their hearts, speak from within. They're not afraid to be vulnerable, but it is a good balance of logic and intuition. Yeah. So this is someone who's done the work, who's mastered themselves, who's mastered their soul, I feel like. And Capricorn, this is your outcome if you allow all this to take place. The Tower moment, releasing the past, healing the past, and changing trajectory with how you're going to do business in the future. This collectively, these 3 cards, if I can show them correctly, the Tower, the 5 of Earth, and the 7 of Earth will bring you this, the King of Water. Okay?